Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show. And now, here's Jeff Crilley.
Welcome back. This is the final segment of the Jeff Crilley Show. We've had a fast hour. My final guest is Janet Livingston. She is the Director of Customer Care for Darrell Flood Relocation and Logistics. Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show.
Thank you.
Now, you're here to talk about a conference that's coming up very quickly here. It's up in September 7th through 9th at the Westin Galleria. And now, this is an interesting conference. Tell me about it.
So the conference is the largest conference on open book management in the world. It started, this is the 24th year of the conference, and it's been going strong since then. And it's all about people that open their books, share their numbers, share their financials, practice open book management, and the great game of business philosophy.
I love it. And this there's a great backstory to this. Jack Stack started this. Tell me his story.
So I actually worked for Jack when I came straight out of college. Jack was, he is the CEO and founder of the Springfield Remanufacturing Corporation. It used to be part of International Harvester. And about 13 of the owners or of the managers bought it out when International Harvester was divesting itself. And as a result, through the process of buying a company, which they really didn't know what they were doing, Jack figured out that he better teach everyone how they were going to be successful at business if they were going to stay in business and really make a go of it. So he and his managers started this philosophy of opening up the books and sharing all the financial information, teaching people how to understand what they did on a daily basis impacted the financial results of the company and basically their own livelihood and their own future.
Wow.
And so he did that, and then he wrote a book called The Great Game of Business, which is kind of how Darrell Flood got started in it. What the story is that Darrell was giving a tour to one of our customers at the time. This was back in 1995, so we've been practicing for a long time too. And she said, "Wow, this is a really open environment. I bet you practice The Great Game of Business." And he said, "What? What's that?" And so this customer sent Darrell the book. He was getting ready to go on a cruise. And so he took the book with him on the cruise and read the book. And legend has it, nobody knows this for sure except Darrell, but legend has it he got straight off of the cruise ship and went to the first payphone he found and called Springfield, Missouri and talked to Jack and said, "Does this really work?"
Wow.
And so Jack said, "Yeah, it does. Bring a couple of your biggest doubters and come on up and see what we're doing." And so
I know there are probably bosses listening to this who are cringing and saying, "Oh, no, there's no way that I could share the company finances with the employees." But you're here to say that it works out.
Absolutely. Like I said, Darrell Flood's been practicing since 1995. SRC was founded in 1983, and they've been teaching it that whole time. It's, both companies have been wildly successful at what they do. There are countries all over the world that are practicing this. And so it may not be for everybody,
Right.
But it is a smart way to engage everyone and to make sure. And the whole reason that Darrell even wanted to do it is he wanted to make sure that his company and his culture would extend past him. And so by getting everybody in that mode of understanding what they do on a daily basis impacts the company, and getting them in that culture and that mindset just, opens up the door to great success.
So I'm imagining that companies that are trying this for the first time, employees might be surprised that, they think the boss drives a nice car and, well, he's just printing money over there, and they don't realize all the other costs that are involved in running a business.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely an eye-opening experience when you first open the books to your employees because, first of all, they do think the boss is taking home fistfuls of money in his pockets all the time. So to really show them and get them to think about how, everything that they do, how they're just paying the light bill and make salaries and everything else that goes into it, just showing them all that and giving them the tools that they need to be more successful themselves. Really just is, it's an incredible thing.
And so when the employees start to understand, wow, okay, the boss is not printing money up there in his office or her office, my wastefulness down here on the factory floor or whatever the business might be really impacts the bottom line of this company.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that have seen in all the companies that I've worked in, and particularly here at Darrell Flood. People are really engaged in the process, and they really do think about the decisions that they make and how that does impact the bottom line. And the way that we tie that in is through a gain sharing program. So when the company exceeds our plan, first of all, we're all part of putting the plan together. So it's our goal of what we want to do for this year. And then we set goals that we say, you know what, if we do better than that, we'll share that back. Now, we also know that we need to save a portion of whatever else we do and keep that so that the company can continue to grow. But part of that goes back to every employee in the company, too. So it's really pretty, it gives them the reason to want to do it.
So I'm imagining Darrell Flood is a very happy place to work.
It is a great place to work. In fact, we've been named one of Dallas's top places to work in the past. So,
really?
Yeah.
And do you believe that the open book philosophy is a large part of the reason why employees are so engaged?
Absolutely. It's really ingrained in our culture. We start from even the interview process. We bring people in and we talk to them about how we're different. And what makes us a special company and a different place to work. And then we start teaching them from day one when they walk in the door how it is that they can impact. And it really does make a difference in the way people treat each other with respect and with dignity. We say we're Darrell Flood dependable, and that means dependable to everyone, internal customers, external customers, everyone that we come into contact with.
That's awesome. The website, in case you want to go to the conference, is openbookconference.com. And Janet, you're going to be one of the speakers. Is that right?
I am. We are actually hosting a workshop at our location. So if people wanted to come get a chance to see it in action and see kind of like the situation where Jack invited Darrell.
Right.
We're actually opening up our doors for people to come through. It'll include a tour of our facilities, a chance to talk with some of our people and see how we communicate and what we communicate on a regular basis with our people.
Now, have you attended one of these conferences before?
I have.
What can somebody expect to experience if they decide to sign up?
It's really a high energy. Just as Darrell Flood is a great place to work, it's the same with all the people. It seems to be a common theme with everyone. So this conference is very open and welcoming and just a fun place for people to come and connect with other people that have the same kind of beliefs and philosophies and cultures that they do. So it's really just kind of a great, it really just fires everybody up and energizes everyone.
I find that millennials love transparency, don't they?
Oh, for sure.
So
for sure.
The future of Open Book is very bright.
Absolutely. That's one of the things we always, is one of our checkpoints, is how transparent are we being with our employees. We want to make sure that we are open and honest in all situations. And that way it avoids, I was talking to someone the other day that used to work for another moving company in another state. And he said, when I worked there, he said, we would get to the end of the year and the boss would say, I'm sorry, we lost money this year, so there's no bonuses at Christmas time. And he said, to work here and to know that I'm in control of whether or not we make a bonus is an amazing thing. He said, it's not a surprise. He said, I always wondered, how did he get to the end of the year and just now figure out we lost a ton of money?
Right.
So this is, really gives people confidence in where they work and makes it fun to come to work and be engaged. And
that's awesome. Tell me, how open is open? Do employees know what everybody makes?
We don't really focus on that. I think there may be some people that do, but we put our numbers together so that it's not really that open to where we're sharing exactly what everyone makes. And that's one of the fears that everyone has. Well, when they find out how much I make, they're going to, I think if you really wanted to figure it out, you could probably try to figure it out. But we really group things together in departments and groups so that it's really not, that open. But we trust that they're taking care of me, they're taking care of everyone else, and we're all working together.
So give some advice to somebody who might be listening to this and they're thinking, I might go to this conference and get more information. If you're rolling it out or you're taking a chance and you're going to do this, is it a long process to roll out, or do you have a company meeting and say, here's what we're doing?
No, it is a process. You need to make sure that your culture is ready for it. You need to start slowly. You may have to, as you talked in your last segment, sometimes everybody runs into mistakes, and so you have to just be willing to keep going forward and know that it's the right thing to do. But, coming to this conference, I think will give you a lot of great ideas and ways that you can help implement this inside your own organization. And like I said, coming to our facility and seeing that tour will give you a great perspective of what it's really like.
Tell me the story when your company adopted it. What was it? Was it a kind of an overnight sea change in terms of employee attitudes, or how did it unveil itself?
It was slow, and we did have some misfires at first. We had some. It wasn't really as positive as we had hoped for, that Daryl had hoped for, but he believed really strongly in it, and he invested in it and just continued forward. People wanted to believe that it was a good thing. And then once we really got into the real first year of full implementation and really moving forward, and people started hitting their targets for their gain sharing, the money made them realize that, it is a good thing, and it is a great process. And since then, it's just taken off.
And you find that employees take ownership of the company when there's an open book procedure? Oh,
absolutely. I mean, you really think about everything that you do and how and what a difference that makes. I see it. Daryl even tells a story about, this was way back in the day, and he asked the person that was in charge of ordering supplies if he could have 4 highlighters. And she said, well, can we wait until next week, because that's a new month, and I won't miss my numbers, my target for this month. And he's like, wow, you'd think somebody would not want to tell that to the CEO.
And we're out of time. Thank you so much for being on my show.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week.